it.
Welcome to the Super R-CADE Show.
Hello, possums! No, that's an old reference to, I don't know, was that Australian man cancelled? I don't know. Anyway, hi everyone, welcome in!
You might cut out, I thought you said bottoms.
Bottoms, oh dear. Hi, bottoms.
I heard possums.
It was possums, it was possums.
I don't know the reference.
It was Dame Edna, you know, the TV personality from the 90s. And Nadia will know, you two are too young.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia, for thank you. Hello. Dogga Kit, I definitely
I'll refer
won't know.
to very, very big glasses as like Dame Edna style.
It was a man in drag.
Yes.
It was, what was his actual name? I've forgotten. Humphrey something.
Yeah, because I always get confused between who Dame Edna was and who Paul O'Grady played.
Yes, Lily Savage. Indeed.
Lily Savage, yeah.
Indeed. Hello everyone, welcome into this week's Super R-CADE Show. I am in a new undisclosed location. I'm now in my bunker. As I'm
His bunker has a window.
Stealing Sam's shtick. My bunker has a giant window actually. I've blocked out some of it with a giant piece of foam, which I will be using for soundproofing.
Weirdly, Andy, me and you don't look like we're in entirely different places.
No,
because of the walls.
Because of the walls, yeah.
I'm also in the same building, just I've put shutters around my section of the room so that I can put on all these bright lights.
What you all don't know is that we're actually
showing
all in the same room, just
We really
different
are.
corners of it,
It's
and you
like
just can't see.
Giant room. Yeah, we're in our stream house.
The
Dream warehouse.
Oriental wall divider was a really nice touch.
I'm editing the audio on the fly so that you can't hear any of us in each other's microphones.
Indeed.
Dogga Kit would like people to know that they know who Dame Edna is.
Fair enough,
And we actually already pre-recorded this.
This is all a ruse. It's all a lie.
I love Edna mode.
Matteo, hello Matteo.
Love Edna Krabappel.
It's Matteo Fernandez.
Oh, who's the superior Edna?
Oh, is that what that right? I read it
Edna
as
mode.
mate of Hernandez.
Yes. Okay. So this is something that happened
Matteo.
in my IRL stream not last week, but the week before. Matteo came in for the first time. Thank you, Matteo, for returning. By the way,
The return of Matteo.
the return of
Matteo
Matteo.
rides again.
But I read Matteo as mate of Hernandez.
None of us can read.
because of English.
I'll be
Thank you.
honest, it's not that none of us could read. I think I could have gone most of my lifetime before I met someone with the name Matteo.
Yeah.
I've actually
based
come
on
across
where
the
I
name a
live.
couple of times, so.
I mean, it's not a common name here in the UK, but Matteo is in Spain. So,
I know Matteo. So
do you know Matteo?
I've never met.
Well,
this Matteo, but I know.
we all know Matteo now. Thank you for
Matteo.
joining us again,
Dude,
Matteo.
you're my
Fernandez.
favorite Matteo.
There we go. The only Matteo. The one and the only.
It's okay, Matteo. We know we were wrong this time.
I corrected it before anybody made the mistake. You see, preemptive. Welcome to this week's Super R-CADE Show. Thank you, Sam. This is the time of the week when we all meet up and we all have a party. An online party, and we catch up with each other, see how you're all doing, what games have been playing, what been doing, and we also see what been doing in the world of video games, and we catch up with some video game news, and we do a few little segments of our own, some fun stuff that you can enjoy again and again. But there you go. Thank you very much for joining us, Matteo. Thank you. It's been a couple of weeks. We had a week off. As I said, I'm in a new location. This is my new streaming boudoir. I shouldn't call it that. But
Personal with that couch in the background.
welcome to my new boudoir.
So it's been
For
2
everyone to
weeks
say
since
that.
I've spoken to Nadia, but we still have the same brain, so that's good.
So I've changed location, but the other three haven't. They are still at their secret homes. And
Depends when you last watched this.
yeah, we're still doing it remotely. Fingers crossed things change in the near future where we can all sort of do the Super R-CADE Show together again. Not that we haven't actually done it together in the same room before.
You and I did when it was
together in the same room.
We did when it was
previously.
named the Send Nudes podcast back in the day.
Well,
You
that
go
wasn't
check
even
it.
all of us. That was 3 of us.
That's what I'm saying. It was just me and Andy.
It was mostly me
to
and
begin
Sam.
with.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Hello,
one of
actually.
them had me.
Nadia started.
Nadia guest starred in one. That's correct. I think.
No, and then we canned it. It got
and,
cancelled.
then the pandemic happened.
And
you know.
immediately cancelled. Because Sean also appeared and we asked if he had a baguette.
This is true. There was a long-standing
So
joke.
we can't get into the long
We
stuff.
can't get into. No, we're not going into the jokes again. So yeah, this is where we catch up. So let's start with Nadia. How's Nadia?
Nadia is okay. Nadia has new glasses, so I can see.
Ooh.
Nadia's also been to a wedding this week.
How was it?
Which means I then didn't leave my house for the rest of the week out of fear that I'd potentially caught something. But nope, we're good so far.
Yeah.
Lateral flow test, guys. Make everything feel better.
Make everything good.
I'm looking forward to everything that's happening because the world is, I say the world, Scotland is kind of getting back to normal, so we're going to be able to see people soon. So I'm excited. I'm nervous, but excited.
Very true.
I don't really think I've been up to. What the hell have I been up to in the last week?
You saw the magic that is love at first hand.
What?
I tried to describe marriage in a fancy way.
Okay.
It didn't go well.
Right, I was wondering.
Talk more about the wedding. Okay.
Well, the wedding was nice.
Because I've only ever been to one, and I'm too young to remember any of it. I don't know if I saw the ceremony in any respect, so I'm always interested to hear. I think it's not out the realms of possibility for me to say that you weren't necessarily dressed traditionally.
No.
But
no.
This is true. We
because
saw.
It's me.
Nadia posted a wee selfie in our Discord.
Yes.
Which I don't.
You can
dress
too.
I was wearing, which
So I can
was
do
my sugar skull dress.
I want to join you in the
your
Sugar
old-
Skull gang.
I
won't
had
let
my
me
sugar
buy
skull dress
anything.
and I had an underskirt and it was very, very pretty and it was very sweet and I was all very, what do you call it, 50s style, mod rock style, and I enjoyed it. The wedding was really nice. It was held at the Oran Moor. It was quite a small ceremony,
Fancy.
obviously, because of restrictions and things like
Restrictions,
that and
yeah.
size, but it was good. And everything sort of worked out quite well. And both the brides were very, very beautiful. So I wish them all the greatest love and luck in the world.
Awesome.
I've just been described as an old teacher. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it because that's because the last wedding I was at was my brother's a while ago, in which I was dressed very differently. But I was like, I walked into the wedding, I was like, I can't be the weirdest one dressed here because knowing like my cousin's quite an alternative person and stuff like that, and I walked in and went, yeah, weird. I stopped someone catching fire.
Really?
So
That was something I did.
Wow.
So
stop.
Were they dancing too fast?
no, what happened was, so it was very, like, the whole layout of it was very, very pretty. And there was the aisle, and there was the chairs, and there was these vases, essentially, with little candles inside, like the big chunky pillar candles inside, that were right next to the chairs. And if you've ever been to a wedding, you know there are some women and some men will wear outfits that have got drapey sort of fabrics on them, like long skirts, long scarves, that kind of thing. And I was watching across the aisle as a woman got very close to this candle that was right next to her, and then I watched as a woman right in front of me dunked her scarf in with the candle, and me and my mum both went
Oh dear.
the last thing we wanted at my cousin. So then we had to start like spreading the message of watch out for the candles as my cousin then walked down the aisle in this billowing, beautiful wedding dress. And I'm like, if she catches fire, this is going to be what is remembered of this wedding, and I hope not. But it was fine afterwards. I do well suggest maybe a bit more fire safety on and more for next weddings you do. But otherwise, it was a very, very beautiful ceremony, and I really enjoyed that.
Can I ask a question about the logistics of a lesbian wedding?
Yes.
Purely because I've, again, never been to one.
Like that feels like something bad's about to
No. It was your cousin walked down the aisle. Do both partners?
They both
walk
walked down the aisle at the same time.
Right. Okay. Because that was my follow-up question. Was if it's not at the same time, how do you decide who gets to walk down first?
Personal preference, then, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's just.
Well, I'm
I was
trying to remember.
curious.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if they met and then walked.
Oh,
or
two different
walked on.
sides, and then they walk each
Well, yeah.
other
So
down.
yes. So it's like if you've ever been in the Oran Moor, the bit that they do a lot of the graduation parties and stuff like that. There are two sets of stairs at the back that you can come down to, and then the aisle was in the middle, and they were both walked down until they got there, and then I think they kind of walked down together. They were both dressed very beautifully. It was very nice.
Nice.
Lovely job.
Have you been playing any video games this week, Nadia?
I've been playing Genshin. Right, the reason I've been playing a lot of Genshin this week, I will talk about later. And gaming news, because it's to do with that.
Fair.
But yeah.
I would like to, before we move on, based on you saying you were in your Sugar Skull, I would like to pitch. I would like to pitch based on the fact that we're all talking about getting cowboy boots in the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, join the Discord so you too can justify purchasing cowboy boots.
Yeah.
That we should be called the Sugar Skull Gang, and we all also need to get something with sugar skulls on it.
You said that earlier, and then I had food in my mouth so I could make this joke, but now you've said it again, so I'm going to launch in. Is the Sugar Skull Gang not the people who sang Jump On It?
Yeah.
It's the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
That's the Sugar Hill Gang. But then also the Sugar Skulls have, like, as much as I had it on the dress, I feel like if you start seeing a Sugar Skull Gang, there's the expectation that at least one member of the party would be of Mexican origin.
Andrew.
That's me.
No.
I'm the token.
Accurate, like, actually Mexican.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't,
just
to be fair.
Confused by an old man.
I might go onto ancestry.co.uk and see if I have any Mexican lineage. We might know. The Lollipop Guild, thanks.
The Lollipop Guild?
I think.
No, we joined that once when all my audio went ski whiff, and me and Andy, or me and somebody, sounded like we were part of the Lollipop Guilds during a game.
I don't remember that. I think. Oh no, actually, that might have been me. I can't.
It was towards the beginning.
It was very early on. Anyway, how is Sam? How's Sam?
I have a advanced subscription to Discovery Plus now.
Whoa! Why?
The Olympics were on, and I wanted to watch basketball, and there's literally no other way that you could watch any of the BBC showed two sports at any one time. But if you got this Discovery app, it's $6.99 for the month, but you got literally every sport. Every sport was televised with English commentary. I used it a grand total of twice, so I'm now scrolling through the directory to find things I can watch for the rest of the month. Currently, I've got, and this is fortuitous, the documentary Gunslingers, which is all about famous cowboys. So that will be what I will be watching. They've got the Food Network, and I hope that they would have Guys Grocery Games. They don't. They have Drivers, Dive-Ins, and Dives, which isn't as fun. So slightly disappointed. They have all the Man versus Food, so that's going to be pretty decent.
Nice.
That's largely it. There's I was in London. London's safe. No, it's not safe. I was wanting to make that sound like I protected London. Never mind. London's fine. Glad to be back into a level of productivity and self-fulfillment. It was beautiful seeing my girlfriend and doing things for her benefit, but I didn't feel like I was doing things for my own benefit, and it's important that you balance those things out in your life.
This is very true.
So there's only so many times you can clean other people's dishes before you want to smash them, or in my case, steal them. So I have taken dishes from my girlfriend's house in London, and I now have them here.
With permission, or?
Well, not with permission from the landlord that they rent from, who the dishes belong to. But yes, with permission from my girlfriend and her flatmate.
How many dishes?
Three dishes. Now, there is a reason for this. I said, I love these dishes, and Deanne's flatmate went, I hate them. And I went, oh, that's a shame.
There's a balance,
but also very, very much part of your temperament to say something like that. And I said, oh, well, whose are they then? Because I thought they might be the third flatmate who's stranded in Europe. And they went, they're the owners, but they've been trying to get rid of them for the entire time we've lived here.
There you go.
And I was like, well, I will steal these plates.
Score.
Thank you. And I now have 3 new plates. So I am slowly accumulating cutlery for the new flat. I
You'll
think
get a
that'll
new mug when I see you.
I'll get a new mug, and you'll get a new mug. It's still sitting here.
Ironically,
Focus.
after
Come on,
Mateo's comment.
There we go.
Don't make me use my teacher voice.
We can take it on Sunday.
Yeah.
I know, that's the plan.
Yeah.
We can see each other on Sunday, not for any content purposes.
Sunday.
No,
We're
it's just
having
update on everything that's been changing with R-CADE, because there's a lot to talk about with that.
Speaking of the week in advance, we're going to talk about the week in the past. Andrew, how's your week been? Because I'm noticing time.
It's been busy. I've been just, Michelle and I have been constantly in R-CADE, sort of getting it ready for hopefully reopening. We announced last week that R-CADE is going to be opening on the 20th of August. just 10 days away.
Discord said no.
Discord, I got some of it.
That's fine. I expected it to happen. I was hoping for your benefit it would.
So we're going to be reopening R-CADE to the public on the 20th of August. It is bookings only. We're going to try and control it as much as possible. We haven't opened the calendar yet, so if you do want to book to come down and visit in Glasgow, Scotland, you will have to wait until the 14th. You have to wait until next Saturday to be able to book.
Oh, our Patreon.
Oh, yes, absolutely. If you are one of our lovely Patreon members, I can't exclamation mark Patreon right now. If somebody else would like to, that would be great. Thank you. Then you can get early access and you can get your bookings in now, as Dogaketa did earlier today. Thank you, Dogaketa, for booking as well. I love you 2 bits. So yeah, I've been busy moving things. So I've got this new space for my nonsense, which is a streaming setup and all my sort of workshop stuff. So modifying consoles, doing sort of repair jobs and that kind of stuff as well. So I'm here managing the online store, hopefully doing some more content creation and basically doing that stuff here, whereas R-CADE is back to hopefully opening up as a social space for everyone to hang out in. So yeah, I've been busy moving everything from R-CADE to here and getting R-CADE set up at the same time. So I am absolutely shattered. Had a bit of a day off yesterday, which was nice. Didn't do too much actually. Did some Mario Kart last night on stream, which was good. Which is great fun. It was our Mario Kart weekly tournament where we choose between 2 brands. So it's 2 teams and you have to battle it out, representing your brand of choice. And it was Android versus iOS last night. Team Android took it quite easily.
As it should.
And Team iOS, they battled valiantly. But unfortunately, Team Android won out.
But they're trash.
Sam is keeping quiet. I don't think, Sam, you're not like...
Hello? Your job offer? In California.
I could be the new Steve Jobs. Wow.
You offering me jobs? Steve Jobs?
Apart from that, I've been playing a bit more Apex this week. I've been getting back.
Are you finished with Anthem?
Yeah, I'm bored. I'm done. It was good fun for like a week.
I'd say that lasted how long?
I think if you had like 2 other people to play with or 3 other people, then it would actually be pretty cool to go through the game Destiny style.
You don't know anyone that plays it.
But nobody wanted to play. I kept leaving little hints in the Discord, but nobody.
And everyone ignored it.
So Anthem
I don't live in this country. I can't play with you.
It was like Anthem every single day, and then
yeah, for about a week, and then no, it's done. But I've been playing Apex again. I'm still so right. So I've got a Series X, but I played Apex previously on PC and on PlayStation as well, actually. So I have 2 different.
No cross progression.
Yeah, no cross progressions. I've got 2 different saves for PC, one for PC and one for PlayStation, and then I go on Xbox and I can't log into either of them, so I have to have a 3rd save now.
That's why Genshin is the superior game.
Yeah, this is true.
Cross saves.
I mean, they've asked Respawn about it, and Respawn have come out and said the game's like 2 years old. It's like 3 years? No, 3 years old. 2017 was it 2017, 2018? Apex came out. I can't remember. It's at least 2 years old. And they're like, any game over 2 years old with that amount of sort of content and stuff, they just, it's too late now. They're like, we're not doing cross progression. It's done. Sorry.
I would like to correct a point that Dogakita has just made. They now do. Since Genshin Impact 2.0, it now allows for crossplay between PC and PlayStation.
Indeed.
I can't read some gaming news, man.
Gen but.
So yeah, bit of Apex, and that's pretty much been me. I've got so much more to do here, but I'm really excited about the new office space, so looking forward to it. I've got some more furniture to move in, but apart from that, I'm all good. Finally, Lewis.
I feel like we could record a bunch of skits in the office that are supposed to be like references to the show The Office, but then the joke always ends up being it's not like a multi-person office size, so the joke just is always we're too close to one another for it to make sense.
Yeah.
Well, like we're talking about each other, and then you just pan out slightly,
Just
and the other
turn around
person is
and they're right there.
next to
Right there.
us.
We need to get a water cooler though.
Oh yeah, I need to get a water cooler. I have a fan. We can stand and talk.
You want a mini
fan.
fridge? Got
Actually, I'm bringing the microwave in later this week. And
but I said fridge. Those are opposite temperatures.
I know, but I don't have. The point I was making was I have zero space for the microwave, so I don't know how the heck I'm going to fit a mini fridge in here. So I'm sorry.
The fridge goes under the microwave, and then the fridge also acts like a table.
I'm using one of the original arcade machines as a table right now for my PC. Actually, as you can probably tell by
Use the fridge.
the edge there. So, but yeah, Lewis, how are you, my friend? How are you?
I am well.
Since I last saw you like 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. I was stuck inside because I was isolating. My brother was sick.
Yeah.
But now that that's away, I was like, I'm gonna go outside. I've been to like Kelvin Grove Park, Jay's Grill, went and helped R-CADE. Oh,
You're appreciating the great outdoors.
I am. Yeah, I was stuck inside for ages. And then I've went out to places now. It's good. Really missed this rain. To be honest, I went out for a walk in it, and I was just like, "Here you go." But then I saw like everywhere was getting shut because of flooding, and I was like,
"Oh God, yeah! Paisley High Street got flooded, man."
Yeah. I was like, "You can take the rain back a little bit."
If flooding gets into my flat, then I know there's a problem. If flooding gets into Andrew's flat, then there's definitely a problem.
Definitely a problem. Well, this is the thing.
Someone's drowned.
We were driving home, and I posted some videos in our Discord of Michelle and I in the car driving through the torrential rain, and
it was so funny realizing you're on a roundabout.
I was supposed to be on a roundabout, but it was just water, and I was like, no.
There was no roundabout.
There was no roundabout. It was a swimming pool, and Mish was like, I don't want to take that exit. I'm like, take that exit. It's exactly the same as all the other flooded exits. But yeah, we were like, oh, it's fine. We moved quite recently, a couple of months ago. We moved from like near the Clyde River, actually near the canal, up the hill. So I was like, I'll be totally fine. But then yesterday, sorry Lewis to jump on your six.
Do it.
But yesterday, the most evil, dark, black clouds started coming towards us, and we'd moved up the hill.
James and the Giant Peach.
So
style.
yeah, like rolling over towards us, and because we're up the hill, the cloud just like enveloped us, and then all we could hear through our flat was just thunder and lightning. It was just horrendously loud, like shaking the entire building.
And quite a lot of thunder up near our bit. Like there's been a lot of thunder and lightning.
Yeah,
absolutely. Anyway, thank you.
But at the very least, the rain hasn't been consistent. It's been like off and on again.
I'd rather
if it had been constant, we'd be screwed.
Some of the stuff when we were driving back, we passed on Asda, and at the roundabout of the Asda, there was a car that was flooded up to just above the passenger window that'd just been abandoned, and then there was like a Honda Civic. And it had come out of the water, but what had obviously happened is it hit a stank underneath the water, but didn't see it. The whole bottom of the Civic was just scraping along the ground underneath the car.
Oh no!
Like, oh god, so bad.
Andrew and Michelle were very kind, gave me a lift home the other day when I was visiting. And on our way back, we were driving through Hillington, and there was the other side of the road was completely flooded.
Oh yeah.
And the guides like out having a look at it, and a car just kept on coming, and the guy was like, "Stop!" because like it was like way flooded. He had his arms up, and this car speared right through the water and splashed him
zero F
so much.
Just like, and he was so angry. I was like, oh man, I feel for you, man. He's just trying to clear the gutter, and it's not his fault.
Yeah, I can't be bothered with people like that when you're like, have some human decency and don't aim for the puddle, or know if there's people walking it, go slowly. Specifically, also for your car's sake, go slowly, because the idea is to go, oh, I'm going through this, and then the water pours back into their engine, and you're like, you deserve that because you're a dick.
Yep.
So that's been my week.
What games have you been playing actually?
Apex.
Yeah, you've been playing Apex too. Yeah, I've seen you online actually.
Apex.
I've spotted you. I've seen you playing. I've seen you.
So yeah, playing that. More to talk about that later.
Yes, indeed. Should we kick into some video game news? Did you catch up
Gaming
with
news.
all the amazing things that
do we have to?
Yeah, that's kind of
Why
what
do we?
do,
Why
so.
do we always focus on the gaming side of R-CADE? You know.
It's almost like it's our entire company.
No, there used to be a ramen section too. Why can't we do ramen news once?
Because we've been trying not to talk about the fact that we're not doing noodles anymore. Like, thanks.
That's the news.
The ramen news this week. There's no ramen. Get over it.
Quietly not talking about it. Just like, Anyway, let's do this.
Let's see someone loudly not talk about something. I realised that as I was saying, I was like, that'll be funny. And that's the goal.
This is gaming news. This is where we talk about everything that's going on. Each of us brings forward a different story, and we have a wee chat about it. So I'm just going to go by order of the YouTube videos. So Sam, you're up first. What have you got for us this week?
Disappointment and frustration at the gaming industry in general.
Why?
No, not really. This week gives us the very last patch release for Kerbal Space Program, a game which released 10 years ago. In fact, the game released 10 years ago last week, so it's just a week after its 10-year anniversary. They have decided that that's the last patch that's come out. So, the reason that I brought this up, the reason it's its last patch, it was just something that interested me and thought it would be a good spark for discussion over here in R-CADE. About games that have how we feel about games that feel the need to continuously update post-release,
right?
And then also how we feel about games that are consistently works in progress, i.e., early access for the entirety of their popularity.
Okay, I mean,
just thinking about those and the stuff like that.
The first ones that come to mind are games that are constantly evolving. Would be like GTA. Especially GTA Online, and then the one that's like perpetually stuck in beta or in development is PUBG. I think in my mind, anyway, it's the first thing I thought
of. Fortnite, but it's most of the battle royale games are all under like they don't want to commit to saying that it is a full game, and just say that they're releasing patch updates that are part of the game that already exists.
For PC, I think it works because you're in a constantly evolving ecosystem. So I mean, things progressively get more powerful. You change parts out in a PC, and there's not like a set deadline for this is the end of this sort of evolution. You move on to the next version of that console, for example. You know, so in terms of PC gaming, yeah, it kind of makes sense, I guess. Console, not so much. I guess.
No, console it starts to get very, very frustrating, and it's something that I've always had a massive issue with, is that when you get a game and your day one download is even more, you're just like, this is ridiculous. Why is the most of the game not available to me when it's like a full complete game? Games like Siege and things, they make sense that you have updates and things later on because it's additional levels and but they have a thing to start with.
Yeah,
they have something that they build on, and
it's additional content. It's not fixing. Like,
it's not fixing stuff that they've done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always had a problem with it because, like, you know, back in the day, you got a game and the game worked. It was on a disc, and there it went. Whereas now there's a lot of more games being released without really being finished because they're trying to hit a release date that made no sense.
There's rushing the game, but then there's like, I mean, it comes down to the ecosystem because it's a digital ecosystem. It means that those kind of things can be pushed out in later dates. I mean, it's fine if it's fixes or if it's new versions or new game modes or stuff like that. You know,
like things like that is different. But it's the idea of going, we can patch that later is, I don't want to say lazy thinking, but it's not planning well. It's like you've encountered a problem, you know that this problem exists, and you've still released it. You're not the audience and the person who has purchased this product has a certain expectation of what they are getting, and you're not necessarily delivering on that, and it's
So what about early access games that you don't have to pay for, that sometimes aren't always a major studio? Obviously, with the example of like Fortnite Battle Royale, that shouldn't.
Yeah, so that kind of thing, that runs differently because for indie studios, you do have the thing of that it is more the early access is okay. We don't have a QA department.
I mean, as long as it's it's advertised
as that,
as long as it's
as long as they're going, this is early access. We kind of just want to get people to play it, stress test it, do all the stuff that we as a room of 10 people can't do or afford to, because at this point we've already exhausted the fact that we know how to dodge all of these problems and not trigger them. So we want people to try, like that. That makes sense. Being very open up and forthcoming about that.
But how long should a game be in that process for? If PUBG has now been part of the zeitgeist and informed other genres of games for probably 4 to 5 years now.
So,
this is true.
If the game is unplayable as a result of these, then that's a joke in the first. Like, it shouldn't have been. People are playing PUBG and enjoying PUBG without any of that. And even if you look at games that technically weren't in early access, like if you look at like Among Us, for example, which started changing, which originally was just going to give itself a sequel, actually had to start changing their original game because it started to get more popular and people were informing the changes that were occurring. It depends on the situation a lot of the time. If your game is unplayable by a certain point, give up maybe, or maybe shouldn't have released it in the first place as an early access. But if you've got a game there and it's just what you're doing is improving it a little bit by time, nothing majorly that majorly affects it, then you're great. But like if it's mostly superficial stuff, but if it's like full-on parts of your game are just broken to hell, then there's issues that stand there.
Well, as Nadia said, give up. And in that term, Kerbal Space Program has had its last patch because the majority of their staff are moving to work on their next game, Kerbal Space Program 2.
Space Program 2, isn't it? Yeah, I was going to say it's this bad boy here. I mean, it's an interesting one because like I feel like a lot of the bad news that followed No Man's Sky, for example, would have been avoided if they came out at the start and said this is early access. This is a very early build of the game that's going to evolve and we're going to add things on. Because now, several years later, No Man's Sky, I personally, I've played it and I'm not a fan, but I know it's a much better game than it was when it initially released, and that was, that's down to Hello Games and a small developer, but and then bad marketing by Sony. However, if they'd said it was an early access game, like say for example Grounded on Xbox is an early access game, and there is bugs, and there's they're constantly evolving it and changing.
Yeah, they're giant. It's weird.
And they're using thanks
and arachnids too.
And they're actually working with the community to build the game. Then that works better that way. I think that's just a lesson learned from a lot of developers, that you can release something before it's probably finished, but as long as you make sure that the consumer is informed about it.
If that's the awareness and that's what people know what they're getting, then there's again it's what the expectation is and what is then delivered. And then again with what you're saying, that they're quitting with Kerbal Space thing and going. Brain stopped Kerbal Space Program 1 and they're now going to Kerbal Space Program 2 because probably what they've realised is that they're basically patching a ship with holes in it still, and they're just like, or we just build a new ship.
Yeah,
we could just build a new ship and take all the stuff we've learned from the first one and make it better, because we realise that there's stuff that we want to change that wouldn't be able to be changed by patches. Now we can just rebuild a whole new thing. And that makes sense. Also, I don't agree with you, Cider Schneider. And a lot of other people don't as well. A lot of people do like Dead by Daylight.
Including Cider Schneider. I think it was sarcastic. We need to move on to other gaming news, but I think the most important thing is that Kerbal Space Program 2 needs to include a Tesla, and if it doesn't, I'll be disappointed.
I think just being able to play as Jeff Bezos would be fine.
I'm pretty sure you can do that. You can build a phallic spaceship in Kerbal Space Program 1.
That's remarkable how many.
When that happened, I was like, it's like I heard we sent a dick into space. Also, the spaceship looked like a penis.
Anyway, moving on. Thank you, Sam. Nadia, you're up next. What's happening in the world of Genshin?
Mine's going to be short and sweet, hopefully. So Genshin Impact.
Paimon.
The what?
Like Paimon.
She's not sweet. She's emergency food. So Genshin Impact right now is running a new event which is basically a rerun of a previous event, which I'm very happy about because it kind of sets the precedence that this might happen, because there's been events in the past that people haven't gotten to play, which have given people like good things that everyone's like, oh, does that mean there's a chance of all these things happening again? So yeah, if you're new to the game, you're not going to miss out on like you're not going to have missed opportunities. Specifically, the reason I'm very excited about this one is it's called the Lost Riches, where basically the whole event is you are going and gathering these coins for this treasure hunter using a treasure hunting Sealy. And Sealies are these little floaty pet things, and it finds treasure for you. And if you do all of this and you get all the coins, you can then purchase your very own little mini pet Sealy, and there are several colours available.
Oh, it's a bottle.
It's a little Sealy in a bottle. That you can release and have as a little pet that hangs about you, which is what I'm just very, very excited about. Because you can get it in blue or pink or purple or yellow, and I am probably going to buy the one in pink, but I need to finish the whole event first.
Can you? So you can choose color. It's not just random.
You can buy one during this event, and it is one of those colors that you can buy.
Okay.
But you do get
if you took part in the event previously, do you
Did you
get
end up with
another
the second one?
color?
I don't know. I'm curious.
Ooh.
If anyone's ever played the first event, I didn't play the first event because I keep seeing like TikToks, people going, oh, and they've got this little floaty creature, and I'm like, when can I get that? And then found out that it was an event, but it came back. The event duration is that it just started on August the 6th, so it just started that Friday.
4 days ago. Yeah.
That Friday there, and it will be going through to August 16th. The only requirement really is that you have access to the Inazuma region, so you need to have finished all the leeway stuff and got into Inazuma before you can.
You mentioned purchase. Is that with in-game currency or real?
Yes, so it's in-game. So it's in-game. The coins that you are collecting for this treasure hunter you're basically trading back to him for this.
Cool.
Because that's what they tend to do for any main events, is that you are whatever you're collecting becomes the currency for whatever you're trying to do. So their event shop will actually probably be open a little bit later than when the event ends. That's usually tends to be the case. So not only along with the Sealy things, you will have more coins than what the Sealy is worth, so you will actually be able to buy Primo Gems and other leveling materials and things like that as well.
Nice.
Thank you, our Genshin specialist Nadia there. Report from Inazuma.
Have you played Genshin? It's a free-to-play gacha game.
Nadia needs to find
once
what
you're in,
Mormons.
it's gacha.
What do I need, Sam?
Find what Mormons wear in Genshin land.
Mormon.
Dressed like a Genshin Mormon.
Mormons.
Be like, have you heard about Inazuma?
Oh, are you actually? Do you mean like
Have I told you about our Lord and Savior
Jehovah's
Archons?
I was gonna say like.
Yeah, there are
Jehovah's
nuns
Witness,
in
you
these
mean.
games.
Yeah.
There are people who worship the Archons. It's like, can I tell you about our Lord Barbados?
Barbados.
Barbados
got their first ever gold medal.
Oh, really?
So did
Well done, Barbados.
The Philippines got their first. Barbados got their first. Bermuda got their first. India got their first in, they said something like 13 years, yeah.
Oh, it was it the javelin guy?
Javelin guy who threw it and then went, yes, as he turned around and I was like, okay.
But yeah, so he did that. The girl who won the javelin for the women's, it was a Chinese girl who won for that. She threw hers and then just proceeded to throw no other time during the competition because she knew she'd gotten the, like, no one was beating it, so she's like, I don't need to throw again.
Yeah, whatever, I'm done.
I'll
be in the showers, guys. Thanks, yeah, cheers.
Smallest weight Chinese weightlifter, he damaged his back on his first lift and they said, that didn't count, you did it wrong. And so he was like, are you serious? And then went and did it again and won with like a bad back. But the Philippines' first gold medal ever was in, again, the smallest weight category of women's weightlifting. And the athlete that won has been given a year's supply of bubble tea as a reward from a company in the Philippines. I don't know, I only saw the bubble tea.
Because, like, finding out what the rewards that people can get at the Olympics is, depending on what country they're from, is interesting. The UK, you don't get very much at all.
Yeah.
You get a gold post box.
I found out that gold medals not made of gold anymore.
Nope.
They're made of
Silver and
chocolate.
bronze,
It's
and then they put a little tiny bit of gold on top.
It's an
The gold
expensive.
medal
Yeah,
is only
you need to
something
go
like
compete in the
3%
Olympics
gold.
for the Philippines and you will get a lifetime supply.
Yeah.
A year's supply, sorry, not a lifetime.
A lifetime isn't
Wasn't a
oofed.
lifetime.
Come on.
I thought it was
break the
lifetime,
bank.
and I was like, oh my god! And I was like, a year, and I was like, that won't even last until the next Olympics. That's bull.
Well, I think the UK athletes get like 10% off at Aldi, I think. So we're all good. Anyway, that's the advertisement I just keep seeing.
I know people have
Bubble
walked up because Bubbles
Is he eating a sport? Yeah.
I
Eating a
think
sport in my house.
so. Michelle was talking about this in the Discord a while ago about how we've had conversations before, and it's just not been something we've been interested in having bubble tea in arcade. I still think, like that's not something we should go into. What I do think we should do is collaborate with someone on an arcade flavor.
Okay. What would...
Just mull that over.
Okay.
Well, the closest bubble tea place to us is a corporation bubble tea place, so don't think it's gonna work.
No, there's one that's local business. In fact, there's one that's a local business, and I now live around the corner from the owner.
Ooh.
Which I only know because I see their van.
Anyway, I think the next news is Andy.
I think it is, yes. Sorry, we got sidetracked by bubble tea.
It's not my fault. Blame the chat.
Butt spot. That's disgusting. Can we not, please? Thank you. Moving on. I'm gonna talk about, or see what you guys think of this, which is Free Guy. The premiere. The premiere for Free Guy is this week at Leicester Square. I think it's today. I think it's this afternoon. So this is the live premiere of Free Guy, which releases to the public in cinemas on Friday. Free Guy, for those of you who don't know, is from the guys that made Deadpool, from the same producers. It stars Ryan Reynolds, and he plays an NPC in an unnamed video game. But he gets sort of sentience and sort of figures out that they're going to be shutting down the game. The main guy who created the game is actually Taika Waititi. He plays the bad, and he's trying to shut down the game, and it's up to Ryan Reynolds to sort of contemplate his own existence and at the same time stop the game from being shut down.
Is that Villanelle?
Fall in love, apparently.
Yeah. What? Who? What?
Is it Villanelle from Killing Eve?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
I had seen the face of fear.
What's his face? What's his face? Is it Steve from Stranger Things as well?
Yeah, Stranger Things.
Stranger
Steve
Things.
Hanks.
Yeah. So this releases on Friday, and the reviews have been coming in, and they've been good. And I think the news piece that I was reading was basically sort of saying that video game movies or games based on video games don't tend to do very well. But when you take video game sort of concepts and the way video games work and put them into movies or work a movie around that, then it tends to work. So say like Wreck-It Ralph works really well because it's sort of bending the rules in terms of what a video game is, and in a sort of movie sense. Related to real life, and so Free Guy is supposed to be doing that in that sort of sense as well. So it's got a solid story in the middle, and then it's all the sort of video game centric stuff that works around it, which works really well. But Mortal Kombat's not done very well, the newest one. Sonic, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
so.
The worry being is, I think a lot of the time is that the people involved in the creation of it aren't fans of the original source material either. Like, so there's a fine line when creating movies. You don't want hardcore fans because they'll
be disappointed no matter what you do. Yeah.
Well, they will this is for the creation process.
All right.
Hardcore fans will only remember clearly the things that they are a massive fan of in the game. And that can sometimes lead to them missing out important parts of the game that other people liked. Whereas if you have someone that knows the source material and is a moderate fan, they're far more likely to find all the nuances or at least be aware of the nuances. Finding someone that's absolutely not a fan of the original source material means that a lot of stuff gets missed out. They have the bare basic bones of what the game is, and the entire concept gets thrown out the window. So which is why you're better off, maybe, if you want to make a game movie, just doing it as a generic game. It
does work and it doesn't work. I mean, Pixels would be the other one that comes to mind, where they where they take sort of video game themes and chuck it into a story.
Love that film so much. Beautiful.
So, am I correct in saying that you will actually need to pay to see this film?
No, you can watch it right now for free, but they will have to like change the script as you're watching it. They're going to release updates regularly.
Okay,
that will
and
have, like,
I need to
updates
buy
it.
like the next 30 minutes.
No, they'll release the updates. It's just, you know.
Well, related to
regular
that,
intervals.
actually, that's a weird one because you
Good
had
time to. Oh, well, you didn't pause that.
It's not.
What?
and
It's not
it paused, and then I paused it as it paused. No, apparently Black Widow got in trouble, or Scarlett Johansson's
Scarlett
representatives.
Johansson's suing Disney because they essentially screwed her out of a lot of money, because I assume her original contract, her payment was based off of cinema revenue.
Yes.
But because it was only limited release in cinema and then put on
It was from Disney Plus.
Disney
as well.
Plus.
Yeah.
It means that all the revenue from Disney Plus doesn't go to her. Or
As
the revenue
always,
percentage wouldn't go to her.
the problem is the wording of the contract. So she signed this contract in 2017 before Disney had any designs on the streaming space.
Yeah.
And the wording in her contract states that the film would be given a wide distribution release. So they've not violated anything in how they've released the film. Disney are well within their rights to release it the way they have, but Scarlett Johansson is right in that has cost her money because of how she gets paid for it.
Yeah.
But there was no, she signed the deal based on that percentage of sales and not based on a minimum earn. So that's just the unfortunate reality of the world having had to change. It's a very difficult one because it's not like they've done this, like Disney could have done things differently and not been like, we totally disagree with, they've said that there's groundless claims for this, which is not fair on someone who's worked for you for 10 years now. But it's not as though they've signed a contract with malice intentions. It's more just like their company direction has changed over the last 4 years, and their contracts haven't.
And they didn't amend the contract. Yeah, exactly. Bit of a tangent there, but yeah, something I thought was related. But Free Guy releases this Friday. I'm kind of looking forward to it, actually. I'm not going to go to the cinema to see it because I'm still scared of the cinema. But I will definitely watch it when I can.
That's like me with Suicide Squad. Like, I really want to see the new Suicide Squad at the cinema. Scale with me.
Same. But we'll just wait and see. But yeah, that was it. That was my.
I've just been while we're on tangents. I've just been informed that talking about flooding, the TK Maxx on Sauchiehall Hall Street,
the roof caved in.
Yeah.
Mish told me earlier. Oh man. Oh.
And Flip Out actually.
Really?
In town as well.
The trampoline place. Wow. Okay. Great.
Lots of flat roofs.
Wonderful. It's still blue skies here. I can see, so that's okay.
I feel like that's part of like a really bad rom-com. Like two people have snuck in to jump out or whatever you call flip out, jump in the middle of the night for like a romantic date, and then something like a pipe bursts and it's raining water as they're bouncing on the trampoline together, and oh my god, the music's slowing down. Is this them spending the rest of their lives together?
Well, yeah, but burst pipe flooding is rainfall flooding as a roof caves in is not romantic. Sprinkling it's more.
I dare say John Hughes could have made it work. John Hughes could have made it work. I bet you.
Yeah, but then like a bit of roof falls in, hits them.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be writing a list.
And then all the manky roof water, because God knows what else has been on that roof. Lots of pigeons. A dead squirrel clocks you in the face.
I was supposed to be making a list for Candy Cane of things to do in Glasgow. I think I'll just have a subsection that's called romantic places to be in the rain. And
it's a weird list.
That's the longest section.
Weird list of places that Sam wants to take Candy Cane on romantic dates. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, we're running out of time. Let's move on to Bloomin'. Thank you.
I would also like to take Candy Cane on a romantic date.
Thank you so much for the follow, Bloomin'. Bloomin' Blue Moon River. No, that's totally the wrong thing. Anyway. Yeah.
Lewis, what's your news?
You've got the last piece for us today. What's going on?
I'm Lewis, and this is Apex Legends Emergence, otherwise known as Season 10 of the game.
Yes.
Lewis, I know you don't talk that much during the streams, but you don't need to reintroduce yourself when it's your time to speak.
Yeah, no, but everybody was
just in case you forgot who I am. Hello.
Hi, I'm Lewis. Anyway, yes. So it introduces a new character, a new gun, a new game mode. It's getting a lot. One of the maps has been updated as well. The new legend, is what they're called.
Yep.
Let's say hero.
There it
Is called Seer, and he's right there. Looks a little bit like Lil Nas X.
a little bit.
All of their abilities are about
We're
like
just
finding people.
Waiting for the court case.
As a character, they're like an artist, but their abilities are like seeing people through walls, basically. And there's been a bit of controversy about that because it's really busted.
It's
Who
so
would have
powerful.
thought? Yeah. There's a new weapon called the Rampage, which is like a light machine gun that you can put a grenade into to make it fire faster.
Yeah, it's good.
I know. Yeah.
That's not
then
what.
the arenas mode existed for a couple seasons. Like I think it was maybe last season it existed, but now they've been like, hey, we're actually going to make this a bit more focused. So they've added ranked versions of the arena.
Yeah.
Why sorry, this is when you're saying about the controversy, I was just thinking about that. Like, Bloodhunter, is it Bloodhunter?
Bloodhound.
Bloodhound, that's Bloodhound. Their power is that they can kind of basically ping people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as Pulse and Siege has proved, being able to see people through walls does not necessarily mean being able to fucking shoot them.
Exactly. The difference with this is Bloodhound, when Bloodhound ults, they can see people just them. Yeah. When they use their tactical, it highlights them to the team, but it's like you don't really need much skill to use the Bloodhound one. But the Seer abilities are a bit different. The Seer's tactical shoots out a big beam right in front of them that extends for 75 meters in game, which is quite a big distance.
It is.
Has it like cancels like revives. It cancels healing items. It highlights the enemy and their health levels for the entire squad, and deals 10 damage as well as flashing the player and stunning them. Which
that doesn't so much seeing them through a wall. This is actually causing outright damage to people, which means I definitely want to play this character.
So it's
everything going wrong.
Their ultimate, which comes back quite quickly compared to other characters, they throw out it's called a heart. Like there are things all about heart seeking. So they throw out this like heart, which is quite small, but it creates a huge big dome, and anyone who moves or shoots within that dome is highlighted to your entire team. So obviously in the game Apex can get quite tight at the end.
And near the end of each match,
yeah. So if you just throw out your ult, you can know
where everybody is.
Where everybody is and see them.
Okay, I can walking. If more deals, I can see why that can be kind of broken, but I assume that as more play goes on, they'll
nerf a few things. Yeah.
The controversy is more about like a power creep, because the first season, for example, introduced Octane, whose whole ability was that he ran fast or ran faster than the other legends.
Yeah.
And could put down a jump pad. And then this guy comes along who like stops revives, which is huge, stops healing, which again is huge, but also has like bloodhounds seeing people.
Yeah.
So it's just the power creep. It's the controversy.
It's weird because what was his name? Who was added last before this? It was the
Fuse.
Fuse, that was right. Fuse.
Might have been Valkyrie, actually.
No, it was Fuse. Then it
was
Valkyrie.
Are they adding Siege characters now?
That's right, actually. Two of them I got that there.
So yeah, the ones before that were Fuse and Valkyrie, and then before that was Horizon, wasn't it? The Scottish lassie. Yeah.
Scottish,
which have all been
we're in games.
They've all been solid,
pretty balanced.
Yeah, they've all been pretty solid. Yeah. So this is weird that they didn't see this coming. They didn't see this coming. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a joke there, but
so alongside this is a little bit of the controversy is going towards the devs because sorry, I know we're running out of time, but
We
so
started
one
late.
of the things is that when he was getting released, they said that it was going to be a high skill like ceiling here. So you would need to it would be pinpoint accurate, but all of his abilities are actually quite fire and forget. You don't really need to worry about it. That when he was pitched, it was as accurate as a sniper rifle with the same size as one legend, whereas you can actually fit maybe like 5 legends shoulder to shoulder in his tactical. And then also the fact that he was going to be completely different and it was going to be based around like sounds. Like he would throw like decoy kind of grenades.
Yeah.
It would create sound somewhere else. So
It'll be
there's
interesting. Let's see.
a bit of
It'll be
mixing
interesting
up.
to see how they balance this. Because I know a little bit about the balance process in some other games, but I'm not really sure what the balancing process is in Apex. I might actually look into that.
I mean, you've been wanting to, you've like been on the cusp of trying Apex for so long. I think, Nadia.
I've dumped in and out of Apex.
Yeah, but you've not
I'm not a massive fan of. The reason I like Siege and I don't like things like Apex is because Siege is more. It's a lot
tactical.
smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's more
think that's
tactical. It's a lot more sneaking and things like that.
methodical in terms
You
of
might
planning,
like the
yeah.
arena mode then.
Yeah, it's whereas with it's a lot of running and gunning.
Apex is very frenetic compared to
Yeah,
Siege,
and you're like
definitely.
someone across the map can do you, and then you barely even knew they were there and that kind of thing. Whereas in Siege, if someone shoots me in the head and I go, "Where the hell did they come from?" and then I look and I go, yeah,
That's
that
me
makes
being
sense."
an idiot, yeah.
But his pick rate is like I think like 30% higher than the next highest legend.
Wow.
At the moment.
That
Obviously
will be down
that's
to people trying them out at the moment.
because he's new, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But like comparatively to the other ones.
Yeah, if they go around the same sort of way that they do with, because the only one I've got really a lot of experience in how they balance a Siege is that they will say pick rate and win rate, and if it becomes far more obvious that people are picking and winning and at a higher rate, they tend
They'll
to
just make adjustments.
start to drop them a little bit.
I mean, it's funny. This actually ties right back around into what Sam started the gaming news with in terms of the evolution of a game, because this is. I mean, this is live testing basically. This is they throw the new character out there, they throw the new weapons out there, see what bounces back, and then they adjust the game accordingly. So
yeah, because I think realistically you can have all the QA testing in the world, but it doesn't really
when you get real world is different.
Real life because you have people like QA testing. It is people specifically brought in for QA testing, so they are trying to find bugs, and then you've got playtesting who are trying to test playability and things like that. Like they're there for a reason and a purpose, and that sometimes can skew how they enjoy the game, unless you're working with kids, because kids are weird.
Or animals.
But they're
Amateurs.
So then once you release it to the public at large, you then maybe start to find out that actually there are issues that you didn't realize were issues at the time.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, thank you, Lewis, for the update on Apex. I'm dying to go play it again. Typical. So I haven't unlocked Seer yet, but I've played a few matches with Seer, and it's been a game changer so far. So that's not going to last. Anyway, go check it out before they start nerfing them. Our final segment for today is a little game that we like to play called this.
All this?
We must be quick. What's the Elvish word for friend?
Melon.
I mean, he's definitely wearing giant pieces of plastic in his eyes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Return of the Thing, something we've not done on the main show for quite a while. Who wants to explain what's a Return of the Thing? Lewis, you're so good at it. What's Return of the Thing?
Hello. Return of the Thing is, I think it's the only game that I've created and brought to the team, but it's a game where it returns every couple weeks. We put ourselves in the shoes of a character from a video game, a movie, book, whatever, and then we pitch that idea the rest of the team, and we have to decide how we would react in that certain situation. Like, what would you do if you woke up one day and Danny DeVito was your twin, or you are on a colony ship and it crashes, and there's one weird guy who's like a prisoner, but he's really good at keeping people alive. Do you befriend a robot like in Pitch the Black? That was a really bad example, but
That was the bad example of that one thing that I made everybody do.
but it was a good time. I just explained it bad.
It wasn't a long time.
Sam, you've
but it
got
was
us
a good
this
time.
week. What's the haps?
Hello, welcome. This is one of our many games. After we finish this stream, we're going to go and record a bunch more games. So if you want to see those, go to patreon.com/Arcade Glasgow and become a patron in one of the top 2 tiers. Join us over there and you get access to lots more games on a weekly basis, both ones that come from our mouths and ones that come from our fingies. Anyway, this week's Return of the Thing. The nun from the orphanage that you grew up in has told you that they're running out of money and the school's going to be torn down. You need to raise $5,000 in property taxes in the next 11 days, or you lose the school. How do you and your brother from another mother come up with the money?
Can I go first?
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew.
So we decided to open an arcade. Specifically a video game arcade, not like a shopping arcade. That'd be really kind of strange. Where we where people are only allowed in if they're wearing sunglasses, and it's only open at nighttime. And
A barcade.
a barcade, yeah. We open a barcade, yeah. And we only play really, really cool like 60s and 70s funk and jazz music,
blues,
yeah.
blues,
blues music. That's the one.
What if their sunglasses exempt?
We open a blues bar. That's what we're doing. What are the sunglasses exempt? Well, how would you be sunglasses exempt? You have no eyes.
Like you already have glasses that you need to wear.
Your eyes.
You can wear sunglasses on top of
sunglasses exist.
You can totally wear sunglasses on top of.
My dad's got those cool ones that are normal glasses, and they go outside, and then the sun turns them into sunglasses.
Well, what I was going to say was we'll have clip-ons for anybody that has issues. Okay. So if you already wear glasses, just a quick sorted. And yeah, we'll be a really cool blues bar.
Okay. That's an interesting pitch, Andrew, but I can tell you from experience of working in arcades that you will not earn $5,000 doing that, and you definitely won't earn $5,000 in 11 days. Nadia, what's your plan?
First, I didn't actually know what this was the plot for until just before stream.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? It's obvious.
I came up with this.
Sam made up.
This is from my head.
This is fresh. This is totally brand new.
So what I would do is the thing that most people in America do when they're trying to raise money for something that they shouldn't have to raise money for because it's a broken system of capitalism and everything's an industry. I'd start a GoFundMe.
Oh, I thought you were going to see charity car wash.
Okay.
No, I just start a GoFundMe page.
That's fair.
And then there'd be a couple of protests, and then nothing would really change.
I feel like you could quite a GoFundMe for $5,000 for a school ran by nuns would probably get that money within the 11 days. I think that would work.
See,
not really.
Well,
look at the history of places run by nuns that involved children.
I wouldn't talk about the nuns part. I feel like
Well, you see, this was my other idea, and my second pitch was to enter a local music competition with the kids at the school.
Nadia, what if I tell you that not only is it ran by nuns, but there's a cool guy that lives in the basement that befriends all the kids and gives them sunglasses?
So what you're telling me is that this facility should have long been shut down by social services?
Because it's got a man in the basement that befriends kids.
Is he real? Is he imaginary? You will not know. Anyway, I've made up this story. I like your idea, Nadia. I think that could actually work. I feel like that's a manageable... I'll be honest, when I came up with this idea and checked the figures on Wikipedia to find out exactly how much it was, I assumed that it would be way more than $5,000 in the plot of the movie.
I mean, it's no wait. When is your movie set? Your movie.
The 70s.
The 70s.
Yeah,
okay, so I
what,
mean,
inflation?
$5,000 is a lot of money in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like probably.
Just for inflation.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Inflate that money.
my answer has a car wash somewhere in it, and also a GoFundMe somewhere in it. I'm taking my story here from a man who had a similar situation, but it was cancer instead of school full of nuns.
Oh no.
Drugs.
Sorry.
I'm gonna sell drugs.
Okay.
I can sell drugs out of my RV.
So when you
buy
said
a car wash that I used to work at,
when you
and
said
launder the money.
That's the
I
front.
think that
okay.
we're just combining different things, because when you said mine also includes a car wash, I thought of the film Dodgeball and thought you were going to enter a dodgeball competition to.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Drugs. Yeah, drugs.
Drags.
Awesome.
Drags. No,
Well-
thank you, sir. No, thank you. Drags.
I think
yes,
that
they know.
is the most likely to happen. I feel like there's a lot. Look, there's a lot of initial investment in setting up a barcade and setting up a drugs lab, right? Whereas you could just go on a GoFundMe and you just need an email address.
I
you
mean, my pitch for the what?
What?
Mish?
Big gaming news, Mish.
It's the drugs then. We covered it.
No, my pitch was just the storyline for Sister Act, but okay, that's fine. Thanks.
your pitch for Sister Act.
Was Sister
Did
Act.
they start a barcade in Sister Act?
No, the second pitch was entering a local music competition and winning because the kids are so talented and winning.
Oh,
all the prize
I thought
money.
you were referencing the
School
movie
of
that
Rock.
this is based on.
And
which
then,
is also-
and then Lewis and
Until
Nadia
the
were,
kids came
that's
in.
School of Rock. I'm like, no, it's Sister
And-
Act 2, you nuggets.
When you said the kids, I was like, School of Rock.
Right,
No!
the
Seen
thing that I
nuns!
remember from Sister Act, the thing that I remember from Sister Act is that she is a Las Vegas
Showgirl,
performer
stripper.
and is running away from.
That's Sister Act 1, not Sister Act 2. Back in the
That's what I
habit.
remember.
Back in the
Anyways,
habit.
Andy, I'm not wrong with School of Rock because he did it to get rent money.
He was the man in the basement who befriended the kids and gave them sunglasses.
Is his rent $5,000? Because if that's the case, then yes, that would also work. School of Rock.
Yeah, he
Put it
lives
in
in a
the
one.
air.
He lives in a
It was
studio
Backpage.
apartment in New York. It's definitely 5,000.
Is it New York?
He lives in a shared apartment.
I don't think it's New York.
I don't
He lives
want
in the Anyway, this isn't based on Blues Brothers, but I can't wait for us to be back in arcade so we can watch Blues Brothers together because it's a
that
good
I've never seen in my life.
Carrie Fisher has a rocket-propelled grenade launcher.
She does. God rest her soul.
Just in life or in Blues
Just in,
Brothers?
in our house.
I think she had lunch
Actually,
as well,
no,
yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I did see a documentary with Carrie Fisher, and she went into her bathroom and she had this. I think it was a soap dispenser, but it was a really. Oh no, I think it was just a model of her in the Princess Leia gold bikini, just sitting in her bathroom. But you could remove the bikini, and I was like, and she was showing it to the camera. I'm like, that's Carrie Fisher, yeah.
Not gonna lie, unrelated to anything, I have yet again been fantasizing about purchasing a fitted just black suit.
There we go.
so-
Thank you, Zico. Thank you for backing me up.
I will be coming into work in both cowboy garb and Blues Brothers attire at some point in the first month.
Like we have an outfit competition that needs to occur between you
Oh, I
and
forgot
me.
we did that. I'm gonna start dressing like all the movies that we talk about in this
Okay.
section of the show. So I will be coming in as Whoopi Goldberg at some point.
Mish still hasn't told us what the news was.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
what
Her
happened?
internet's slow. It's taking a while for her to send the next one.
I mean, her internet
Um,
might have cut off. I only put it's a test internet at Arcade right now because we haven't got proper. I took the internet from Arcade and brought it to my office. So
No. Well, in the meantime, that's been this week's edition of the Super Arcade Show. You can catch us back here for the exact same hilarity and humility. in
Oh,
exactly
yeah, about
1
us
week
reopening.
from 4.
Yes, we spoke about reopening at the
We
beginning.
mentioned
We
that,
did,
but we're going to
Mish.
mention
We
it
talked about it a
again
couple
right
times. Go
after
for
I
it.
talk about. If you've not got time to wait for us reopening, then you can go over to patreon.com/arcade Glasgow. Support us, help us, join us, be our friend, hang out with us on the interwebs.
Be one
And not
of
only
us.
do you get more games like the one we just played, we record an extra 3 after every week's episode of the Super Arcade Show. You also get gameplays on the weekend, plus special discount codes, etc. for when we do reopen, plus bonus access. No, the mic's that way. Plus bonus access for early booking advancement for when we do reopen on when, Andrew?
the 20th of August, sir.
When does booking open for the general public?
The 14th of August, sir.
So if you want to beat the crazy rush that is our crazy taxi of friends and fans, and you want to jump onto the Patreon and get yourself some exclusive access, I need to burp.
Indeed. That's the full stop at the end of the sentence. I kind of love it. Wonderful. Guys, thank you for joining us. If you want to catch the show again, if you missed it by any chance, you can join us on Spotify by just searching for the Super R-CADE Show. You'll see us there. Drop us a follow, and you can catch episodes as they go live every week. Nadia, Sam, Lewis, it's been lovely. Missed you guys for a week, so thank you very much for today. We will see you guys next time. Stick around for the raid. Have a good night. Everyone say bye.
Deuces.
Deuces.
Goodbye. Andrew, can I suggest a raid?